So on our Across the Desk feature today, I'm hosting avid travelers. There are some people who really love exploring the world, seeing the world, and they sometimes do it as a hobby. They do it as a passion because they love exploring the culture, the food, the history. They love adventure. And I've just invited them to come talk to us about why they love traveling and what is it that they love about traveling. What do they do when they travel? And I know there are some people that may be interested in starting their travel journey. Maybe you've got questions for them on, what places maybe they've been to that you can consider going to first, what to do when you get to a country. So please, you can join this conversation. Maybe you're an avid traveler yourself. Give us a call on 011-883-0702 this hour. Alternatively, you can send us a WhatsApp on 072-702-1702. My guest this morning, Nadine Ndlovu, is in studio with us. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Thank you so much for joining us. We also have a Gaynor, Neill, who's joining us in studio as well. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much, guys, for making time for us. I want us to just start off by you telling us about yourselves. And Nadine, let's start with you.
Okay, so Nadine.
And also, how did you get into traveling?
Wow, okay. So I'm actually a performing artist by profession. So I'm an actress. And how I got into traveling, I was based in the United States for a couple of years. And as we all know, the United States is a huge country. Traveling to another state is like traveling to another country. And I just sort of spent a lot of my time there traveling, seeing new places. And then I fell in love with exploring different countries. And it became addictive. And the more countries I saw, the more places I wanted to travel to.
How much of the US did you explore?
I've been to 25 states, 25 out of the 50 states.
In how many years?
In 2 years.
Are you kidding me? There are people who've been there for so long. And
Yep.
Oh my, 25. And what's your favorite?
Ooh, I have
City
3.
so far, yeah?
I mean, New York City is...
yes.
but
New York.
Chicago is also... Illinois,
Really?
Chicago is really amazing.
Okay.
Los Angeles, I mean, the artist in me will obviously love California.
Okay.
But Washington, D.C., oh my gosh, there's a lot. Washington, D.C. is also really...
Okay, that's great. That's great. I think I've loved DC as well. I've loved LA. I've loved New York. I've never been to Chicago. I'd like to check that out soon. Okay, and what about you, Gaynor? Tell us about yourself and when did the travel bug bit you?
From a very young age, I think I've always been a bit of an adventurer, and so I followed a career into travel, which found me 30 years ago starting a career in luxury and niche cruising. So I've just developed a passion, for the destinations that we sell. We visit 1,000 destinations over 7 continents. Not me personally, it's on my list. And I've, through the career, managed to visit 6 of the 7 continents in the world. And the one that I haven't done is Australia or Oceania. So I've been to Antarctica, which was definitely the highlight of my career so far.
Yeah, sure. That's amazing. What was your first travel experience, Nadine? Like the first time you ever left the country?
The country.
Yeah. And on holiday.
Oh, gosh.
And were you alone?
So, I mean, the first time I left the country was to go to the US, but I would say on holiday was to the Bahamas, and I was with 4 of my other friends, South African friends.
Okay.
And we went to the Bahamas, and it was, wow.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Do you prefer traveling alone? Do you prefer traveling with a group?
No, I am not a solo traveler. I learned that very early on. I am not a solo traveler. It's so boring. I need people I want to be like, hey, look over there. Do you see that?
Really?
Hey, take up my picture. I don't want to be setting up a tripod. No. No.
You're a solo traveler? You love that?
Largely because of the business side of it.
Yeah.
I find myself going to perhaps events and naming ceremonies of cruise ships, and it's found me traveling solo a lot, and it's very empowering. I find it can be a little bit nerve-wracking at times, but you really find yourself becoming, I don't know, quite an adventurer, and you have to do a lot of planning, and you have to watch obviously your safety, but it's quite empowering to travel alone as a woman, I must say.
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, it's different for me as a guy as well, but my goodness, traveling alone, Nadine, I think you have to try it.
I have.
properly?
So I did Europe
Yeah.
in 2023 by myself.
Where did you go in Europe?
So I went to Denmark, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Germany, France. I feel like I'm missing out on one, but I
That's a
did
lot.
all those countries, and
I don't know. I've enjoyed traveling by myself for so long.
but also language
That-
barriers are a thing.
They are. I mean, just do Google Translate.
If you've got Wi-Fi in
Yeah.
that area.
But the nice thing about Europe is there's Wi-Fi everywhere. Just stand outside a
Yeah.
restaurant. It's very easy to connect to Wi-Fi. Okay, how do you guys plan your travels? Like, are you a type Gaynor who, like, you sit and you get like an agency to do that for you, especially if you're not working, or you want to do that yourself, your flights, your accommodation?
Funnily enough, Nadine and we were just chatting about
Yeah.
that before we came on. I do recommend travel agents. I always say I would never fix a leaking pipe without using a plumber.
Yeah.
Travel agents really are knowledgeable and well studied. Me personally, obviously, we run, working in the cruise business, but we do work with travel agents. I always recommend to do a lot of research before you go. Try not to look at too many pictures. It's quite nice to get a surprise of, but definitely if you've got a limited time, research where you're going, look for some of the highlights, look for some of the best restaurants, quite often off the beaten track. And so that you make the best of the time that you have, because you tend to find when we're traveling, we have limited time. We're away for maybe a week or 10 days. You want
Yeah.
to make sure that you factor in relaxation. It depends on your
Oh,
interests.
I have to nap every day, guys. I'm sorry. Even when I'm on holiday, I need an
Siesta.
hour nap
You
during
can nap
the
when
day.
you come back home.
No. I'm sorry. I need my normal nap at least an hour during the day. And how do you do it?
So I'm a travel agent myself, and I started this when I saw how well I could plan my own trips. So yeah, I do a lot of research. I think, like she said, like not looking at a lot of pictures or videos, because what you see isn't always necessarily what you get. So a lot of research goes into it. Yeah, but research, and I enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of research, and yeah, I see where other people go as well, and what's speaking to me at the current moment, and what's more affordable. Is
Okay, speaking of that,
Yeah.
so how do you choose what country you want to visit next? Like, is it checking out where people have been, or do you think I've got a long list of like 100 countries that I need to tick for the next 10 years? How does it work?
So for me personally, I love any place with water. So the ocean, rivers. So that's sort of been my checklist in terms of destinations. I don't like to go where a lot of people are going. So I know at some point Bali was like the destination for South Africa.
Me too. So I went
Yeah.
to Bali for the first time
Yeah.
in December, because
Nice.
I also feel like that sometimes when people are going to a place, I'm like, I want to go when it's like
yes.
they get bored of the place. Remember when Thailand was like the place?
It still is.
Okay. Okay, so you check that out. And
Yes.
okay. And what about you?
Well, obviously, most of what we do is by a cruise ship.
Yeah.
And you were speaking of water, and it's funny, people love traveling on or near to oceans and rivers. The beauty of that is there's two things. Is first of all, you get to, it suits my nature to see lots of different places. So one voyage can take you to a multitude of destinations, perhaps
Yeah.
all around the Mediterranean in one trip. But also a lot of the expedition stuff these days is looking at, and smaller ships, more off the beaten track as
Yeah.
well. So the big hitters will always be the big hitters, but it's nice to see more
Yeah.
smaller destinations. Also, it takes into account this over tourism that everyone's talking about. So to start visiting smaller or more off the beaten track destinations also helps in that.
Yeah,
And
but you must
cruising's a
still
great
do in
way.
New York. You know, you
Oh,
must
yeah,
still
yeah,
do
the big
France.
hitters,
The big
for sure.
hitters
Big
are there.
hitters.
It's just to tick the
Yes.
box.
But I also like to choose places that don't require South Africans to have a visa.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, can we have more of those, please? 'Cause also,
And there are a lot.
guys, it's expensive
It's very
to get a visa.
Very, and difficult for some destinations. Schengen's easy. Canada at the moment, I think you're waiting over 400 days for an appointment.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Ireland
the
is much the
UK,
same. So the UK.
US.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go to the Antarctic. You don't need a visa.
Oh, we done?
No, not
I
at
should
all.
do that.
Yes, there
I
you
should
go.
do that. Okay, so one of the things, the reason that I also don't like traveling to places when a lot of people are going is because I don't like being on holiday and I see people I know.
Likewise.
Why am I?
Zanzibar.
why am I in the middle of Antarctica? And I see Nadine. He's like, hola. I'm like, oh, South African. And when in Bali, by the way, in December, the reason I went is because Black Coffee was going to perform on New Year's Eve. And I booked at this resort. And I'm not kidding you. Second night, while I was having breakfast, a South African walks in with her daughter. Lovely South African. We ended up having a lovely chat. Third or fourth night, as we're leaving to go out, I see a guy with the wife walk in. And they said, hola. And I was like, these are my guys from home. You just know. So I think for me, it's always that because I just want to be on holiday. Like, I just want to know that I'm here. I can just have fun without thinking about anything else. What do you guys love exploring the most? Because I'm boring in that I don't try the food. So I'm a terrible food trier. Like, I just want like ordinary things. So when I get into a country, if it's like Thailand or I will Google European restaurants and I'm boring like that.
And I'm the opposite. I was just about to answer your question and say definitely, clearly by looking at culinary. I love trying the different, anything cultural or culinary. Something, I was in Budapest a few months ago and I went round back streets and I look for where the local people are eating. Not the tourists. So I saw the local restaurant selling the Bulgarian goulash, and that's local people. I'm going to go eat there. Same in Italy, Portugal. I've done so.
You don't have stomach bugs or anything?
No. Well, I'm looking at my colleague. We may both have got food poisoning at a ship launch a few years ago, but that's another story altogether. But no, it's generally. Where locals are eating, you tend to trust, especially in Europe. Definitely, I love that.
Yeah. I love to try the local food. I mean, you can't go to Italy and not have their pizza or their pasta. It's just fun fact. I actually never used to like tacos. I've tried them everywhere: South Africa, the US,
in Mexico,
and then I went to Mexico
because they've got the best.
That's where they're from, and I only want to have tacos from Mexico now. So, I mean, I do think it's probably a great idea to try the food from there, but also do your research because there's things like Thailand. They do tell you not to eat the street food in Thailand because you can get sick. And I didn't listen to that, and I did get sick. But it's still nice to try. I mean, duck from Bali. I don't know if you had the duck when you were in Bali. But duck from Bali is amazing.
Did I? I'll think about that probably because a duck. I have a duck. I can have a duck in South Africa. So
but the one in Bali,
I probably do. I'll think about that.
Yeah.
So the tacos were cool. I really enjoyed that in Mexico. Where in Mexico did you go?
I went to Tulum. And Playa del Carmen.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, 011-883-0702. Are you an avid traveler? Where have you been? What have you enjoyed? What do you love the most about traveling? And if you've got some questions for Nadine and Gaynor about where you want to go, maybe where they've been, some tips on what to do when you land. I'm hosting Avid Travelers on our Across the Desk feature this morning, Gaynor and Nadine. I want to hear from you as well, though. If you're an avid traveler, or maybe you want to start traveling. Maybe you've decided you are getting into your traveling era. And I remember when I got into these guys, a few of my friends were like, midlife crisis, because I'm a guy that will also just, that will go, I mean, I don't know, over the last, 6, 7, 8 years or so, or 6, 7, 8 years, I have not spent my birthday in the country. Nice. I've always preferred that I want to be away. And that sounds weird to other people. And then they're like, and you go alone? Like, yes, I am, and I'm going to have a lot of fun. So are you a guy or a lady or someone who travels on your own? What do you prefer most, a group or traveling by yourself? Okay, so I'm going to go to some WhatsApps and calls in a moment. So I'm going to ask you guys to put on your headphones. I've got Neill who's calling us from Secunda now with a question. Neill, how are you doing?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. What's your question?
Firstly, I actually took a trip last year that was planned by Nadine.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, so she planned my birthday trip to Thailand last year. It was amazing.
Did you go to Bungalow? Is it Bungalow Street?
I did. That's an experience.
Do you know?
Bungalow
Road, yes. Oh, God, yeah. Anybody who goes there is going to get home at 5 or to the hotel at 5 in the morning.
Listen, they do not sleep.
They don't sleep.
Country. We were just like, a whole research.
Yeah.
But I think I have a question that maybe I can direct to both. Because I also am a little bit iffy about traveling by myself. But it's so hectic trying to plan a trip with people, because maybe when you're ready to go, but then now your calendars are not syncing or your budgets are not syncing. So I wanted to find out if they suggest like things like, I don't know, like a Kontiki or whatever, where it is like a group like setting or not, because I've heard both great reviews or things like that, and then also not so great.
Yeah, and then by group travel you mean like people you may not know, those.
Like
okay.
you just like a Kontiki, where
there's
a planned thing, and then you get there and you meet your travel, what do they call it, like the guide and or everyone else on the day, and then you guys just do all the experiences together. You find out who you're rooming with, if you are rooming with somebody, and so on. So I just wanted to find out their thoughts on that.
Yeah. Okay, guys.
Yes. Hi there, it's Gaynor. I absolutely recommend that. Especially, I know the Kontikis tend to be the 18s to 35s, top deck and things like that. But it gives you the opportunity of traveling independently, like you say, instead of sort of syncing up, and coordinating with a friend and to be able to do that, but in a safe, controlled and planned environment where you get independent time and you get to meet people generally from around the world of a similar age and interest. So definitely it's a safe and smart way to do a solo trip anywhere in the world, is to use one of those group.
I once got concerned about the European one where they said 8 cities and they're like 5 days or 6 days. I was like, that means we're traveling every day.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, Europe, some countries are very close to each other, where you can just take a train to the next country or a bus. So I think that's also very, very good. The Kontiki especially. Hi, Neill, by the way. So I think those Kontiki is a great way to travel solo, but with the choice to meet other people and other like-minded people as well.
So you still have space to do your own thing.
Yeah.
But you still have a group that you guys are moving from country to country with.
Yeah.
Okay. There's someone who's asking here. Thank you, Neill, for that. Someone is asking, hey guys, I have a question. How long do you guys think a vacation should be to fully explore a country?
Minimum 7 nights for me.
Nights?
Yeah.
Minimum 6 nights.
Yes.
Okay,
A minimum, again, we work with cruises quite often. So a cruise, often the most popular one would be a 7-night cruise.
Okay.
But you've got to allow travel to and from. So if you're traveling, for example, to the Mediterranean, you are always advised to get there at least a day before a cruise ship departs, a night in a hotel. So it becomes about a 10-day trip. But like you say, minimum of 7 to 10 days to take in any destination.
I want to try cruise, but I'm so scared.
Don't be scared of what?
Water.
If I may ask.
I'm scared of water. So first of all, I mean, I've been learning how to swim because it's just a health hazard. We should know how to swim, because if ish hits the fan. So I've been learning, but I'm just generally scared of water. Like when I'm on a boat, I'm just like, I sit there still and I just want to nap for an hour until we get to the destination.
It is understandable, and I know but it's such a beautiful way to travel, and I think maybe you've just got to sort of overcome that fear. Give it a go. I would recommend, because it is a way of exploring the world. In our case, it's in extreme luxury.
What if the waves are hectic? What do you guys do?
Oh, you do. You do get rough seas, but not. Remember, our South African oceans. A lot of people have maybe experienced a cruise in South Africa. We have notoriously rough seas.
Yeah.
If you're sailing overseas, for example, in the Med, or we do river cruises. I did 4 capital cities in 4 days a month ago.
Yeah.
Traveling by river. So, and a river is just pull up into a city and hop off the ship or grab an electric bike. So you don't have to go on an ocean liner. But the oceans in the Mediterranean, for example, are very, very calm and serene. So
Okay, yeah. You'll recommend a few for me on what I can try.
100%.
That is calm and serene.
Yes.
Please.
Yes. Not local then.
No, not local. Masatsi, you're in Tembisa. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm well, thanks.
Sure.
I'm speaking to myself from Tembisa. I'm a first-time traveler. I'm planning a trip. I've already paid to go to Lesotho next month in Maseru. It's my first time. I've never traveled before. Whenever I plan a trip, my friends will be saying, "Oh, you told us late and whatnot." So now my passport is like 3 years old already. It needs stamps.
Yeah.
So I said, so I need advice as a first-time traveler. I'm traveling to Lesotho.
Yeah.
What are the do's and don'ts, and what should I be looking out for?
Okay.
If at all.
And you're traveling on your own. So as a first-time traveler on your own, what are the do's and don'ts? I think do's, you guys have already said try the local food, where locals eat.
Yes, but also, as we've said, research. So read up about where perhaps sites or landmarks or places that of interest that you want to go. Make sure that you're with a reputable accommodation, that you're booking reputable services. Sometimes, it's... You don't want to, you may need to pay for something a little better is what I'm trying to say. Don't skimp and scrape if you're traveling solo particularly. Put your safety as a first priority and book reputable facilities would be my advice.
Familiarize yourself with the country's language, the currency, money, things like that, payment systems even, and culture, because cultural differences are a thing.
And I would also say, from a solo travel perspective, always have a bit of what I refer to as a buddy system. So have someone that you are in contact with, and saying, I will be traveling between here and here, and I'm going to arrive at this time. It is very good to have a backup, to have a buddy system that somebody's aware of where you are.
Share your location with someone.
For sure.
And I would say maybe think about an eSIM. I mean, in Europe, not so much because, as I said, most of the restaurants, you just step out, there's access to Wi-Fi. But in some of the areas, maybe having an eSIM works. You still have access to data even when you're not at the hotel. That seems to work a lot for me. All right, it's 10:32. All the best, Mahlatsi. Enjoy Lesotho. Please call us back to tell us how that was. We're going to get the latest in Eyewitness News headlines now. When we come back, we're going to continue this conversation with Gaynor and Nadine and take more of your calls and WhatsApps. What do you like about traveling? I've got some of your WhatsApp voice notes coming through and your calls on 011-883-0702.
Hi, Clement. I should have been on the show today. I'm traveling to my 32nd country this year. This year I plan to do 32 through to 36. My special brand of travel is low-cost luxury. I always look for business class and getting the best deal I can on business class, and then also like low-cost 5-star hotels, which, you'd be surprised when you do your homework, you can find them. And the other aspect of my travel is I do it all within my 28 days of leave that I have a year, which is quite a stretch, but it's for the love of the travel and the places that we see.
Mm-hmm. So I wanted to ask a question based on that, guys. So if you are, and especially for you, Nadine, do you do you choose one airline to travel with so that you can, because maybe that's advice that can go to other listeners who want to start traveling more. Is it best to travel with one airline because then you can maximize on your miles? I know I do that. And then, if you're traveling with Emirates or whatever airline you go with consistently, you know that there are miles that you can.
Yes, that is a great way to go about it, but also it depends on where you're flying to. Not every airline will always fly to that destination. You might be loyal to Qatar, but maybe Qatar is not flying to, or it's the more expensive option to the current destination that you're going to. So honestly, I think I keep it at about, I'm loyal to 3 or 4 airlines. There's some that I will not fly with, not to mention any names, but I'm really not picky as long as it's any of those 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you do get some miles, yeah?
Yes,
you
I
use
do
those?
get some miles, yes.
Okay, perfect. And does it happen even with cruises as well?
It does.
Yeah?
In fact, it's quite key. There's, there's a few factors to consider. First of all, visas. So depending on the routing that you're taking, for example, certain airlines, if you're going over the UK, you've got to consider, visa implications. The Middle Eastern carriers, the Qatars and Emirates, tend to be very, very good as a hub for connecting with cruises, particularly in Europe. But again, some people, the loyalty points are important, but I think you've got to look at the value for money overall with the length of destination, with the types of connections. Do you want to sit somewhere for 8
9
hours in
hours.
between? Exactly.
Yeah.
So I err on the side of convenience. Again, do a little bit of research and find out what works best with your plans.
Yeah.
I think another way as well is I always book an airline. Sometimes I do like the long layovers, so I can get to stay in that country for a little bit and explore, especially if it's a country that doesn't require South African to have a visa.
Yeah.
Your Singapore's, your Qatar, Dubai even. Some people just like to go out of the airport.
Because Dubai can give you a day.
Yes, a day pass.
Yeah.
Go out, have lunch, come back.
Yeah.
So sometimes that's also how I pick my airline.
Yeah, Singapore is also great. As it's just that it's so expensive.
But they do have free tours. If you've got a layover that's 8 hours and over, they've got free tours.
I think I once did their free tour, but then I ended up at this restaurant or club, and I ordered a drink called the Singapore Sling, and I paid 400 rand.
Oh, yeah.
400 rand for that cocktail.
That's Singapore food.
A Singapore Sling? Yeah, it's it's quite crazy. Here's another WhatsApp.
And I hope you are good together with your guest there. You know what, to be honest with you, I think most of us, we like to travel, but we don't have money. Traveling is expensive. So, not today, all I'm saying is that, guys, replaking, man. Replaking, because when you are traveling like almost 2 or 3 times in a year, so if honestly, and we don't have money to travel like you, but if there are things like clubs where you guys are paying, and when you've accumulated a certain amount or certain points, and then you are able to use those to travel, plug us in, man. Lorena, we want to see the Germany, all these places. Assembly, replaking. Lorena, comment pile.
What's that video, Abel? Ritz saying, oh, you remind me of that video. So, I mean, people plan differently. So, I'm addicted to traveling. I have to at the very least, I have to see at least 3 countries in a year, at the very least. And sometimes I repeat like countries. And that's just an addiction I have. So what that means is I have to plan around it as well. Like, I will budget for that. So I will not do many things, but I know that there's money that I'm putting aside. So I don't know, are there club, what people who come together? I don't know about that. I've never done that. But I personally do that myself on the side, where I know that I deprive myself of certain things because I've got a goal. Yeah. I've got to go somewhere in June or in August or in December, or at least 3 times a year. How do you guys do it? How do you plan for it? Is it just savings by yourselves?
Yeah, well, yes, sometimes it's business in our case, but yes, you look for deals, and I've got a family. I've got 3 sons. I'm actually taking them on a cruise in July.
Nice, where?
To Croatia and Italy.
Nice.
So it's a 10-year promise that I'm fulfilling now. So
yeah, see the importance of planning.
But I want to add to that, lady. Also, never forget, we talk about all these international exotic destinations, and it's a dream and a goal of many people. We live in a very, very beautiful country.
Oh, yes.
And you could, up the road in, I'm going to say, Mchalisburg, for example, there's some beautiful little chalets. So you don't need to be spending thousands and thousands. You can actually have a nice, perhaps a little long weekend. We live in a beautiful country. Start experiencing that first if you've got that urge for a little adventure.
And that's where I want us to come to in a moment. But how do you plan for your travels? Do you save yourself?
Plan ahead of time, and then start saving. I also do want to say that I feel like we were actually speaking about this outside, and how people are under the impression that traveling is expensive, which it can be. But it can also be affordable. You guys we can all travel. And I think with my company as well, my travel agency, Navigate, that's what we try to do. We try to plan affordable trips for people. A lot of people say, it's cheaper to travel within the country. Sometimes traveling to Cape Town can be the same price as traveling to a Zanzibar. Yeah. But people don't know that.
They don't know.
Because you're either not doing enough research, or just find an agent who can help you with that. It's possible for everyone.
Give them a budget.
If you
say I've got 15K, who knows? They could find you something in
Mozambique. It doesn't mean you'll stay in a resort in an all inclusive resort, but you can still have
Yes,
somewhat of an experience.
Absolutely. Okay, so local travels, because I agree with you, Gaynor. We live in such a beautiful country. Durban, Cape Town, and those are not the only places.
Mpumalanga.
Or Kruger, not the only places. I recently, 3 weeks ago, went to the Midlands.
Yes.
I was blown away, and I have never been to the Midlands. And I was shocked that how is it that I don't know about that place? And I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done to market places in South Africa. Are there places that you guys have been to locally that are not your usual Durban, Cape Town, that you would think people must look at and start Googling?
For sure. I'll tell you my favorite, a family favorite. I like to do the Kruger National Park at least once a year. It's, and there's people overseas, remember, that are dreaming of doing that, and we've got it up the road. Marloth Park, you can get some wonderful self-catering accommodation. Even Michalisburg, 40 minutes away from here, some beautiful little resorts. So this is people that have a desire to get away and feel that they absolutely limited because of budget. Not always the case if you consider what's on your doorstep. And you start getting that sense of adventure and set your goals and dreams, then who knows where you'll end up. So.
There's Mpumalanga, there's God's Window there. There's so many beautiful mountains. There's waterfalls. Mpumalanga, Limpopo as well. There's a couple
is
of
amazing
Limpopo.
places.
There's also a place in the Free State, Parys. Really nice. Really nice places to go and activities that are affordable. You know, river rafting. Things like skydiving. There's actually quite a lot other than the places that we do know, like Cape Town, Durban, which are great, but yeah.
Oh yeah, guys. And even in KwaZulu-Natal, there are places I'm finding now that are not in your usual there, but like they're just deep inside that you can check out in Limpopo, not just Bela Bela. But we need to do so much.
There's also a place in Pretoria called Dinokeng where you can.
I've been to Dinokeng.
Yeah, and people think you need to go. It's just here where you can go and see some animals.
Yeah.
You know, game drive.
I've been to Dinokeng. It's beautiful. All right, Professor Mamokgethi Phakeng calling us from Johannesburg. Prof, how are you?
Hello, Clement. I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. I'm sure. How are you in South Africa? Because you are always somewhere in the world.
I'm chasing the sun. Wherever the sun goes, I am.
Yeah.
So, and that's it's a very interesting show. I love traveling, and I've been everywhere. But I mean, your guests have. I've always said it's only the Antarctic I haven't been to, so I still have to put that box. But I've been on every continent. And then the thing is that I got into timeshare or the point system because I found that if I have a timeshare, or 3 years ago, then I got into the points. Then I just pay the service fee or the levy, and I can go anywhere in the world. And then it feels cheaper, but I paid for the levy, but I can just go online and look where it is. So that's one in terms of people, and people would say, how cheap is cheap? On one I pay maybe about 19,000 rands a year. Yeah. But I've got lots of points that I don't even manage to finish to use all in a year. So actually, you end up having I lack time to travel, but I have places and accommodation, and all I have to pay for is transportation and that exchange fee. So I would like to get your guests' view about that. But the other point you asked, Clement, was when you travel, what is it for? For me, it's for the experience. So like your guests, I don't like the usual places that people go to. I don't want to meet South Africans when I'm there. Yeah. So I'd rather go to places where I will enjoy the place. So for example, people would say, but I would say Rotorua is one of my favorite places. But why? It's because it's a city on top of a live volcano. And I love the fact that I can be walking in a park and there's a volcano, it's live. And people have backyard baths, warm baths in the backyard because, so that kind of thing. Wow. And then, of course, when you mix it with the Maori culture, that I can spend a weekend at the Marae with the Maori community doing their culture. It's just priceless. You will never get it anywhere. But then it's in the middle of New Zealand. It's in New Zealand. So I don't go for Auckland, which looks like any other Commonwealth city, but Rotorua becomes amazing. And there was a time when I was doing island trotting. I called it island trotting, just going to islands. And that's when I was worried that these islands are going to be consumed by the sea very soon, and we've never seen them. So I just went onto islands. And again, finally, let me stop here. It's that your guests can also tell us about times when it's cheaper. There are times around May. Around May, that's when it gets cheaper in other places. So let them talk to us about that, because you can get the top hotel in the UAE as if it's growing out of the desert, with a landing strip and rooms for Beyonce and Michael Jackson that are allocated, and you get it for nothing, simply because of the timing. So I look at the timing as well. Thanks, Clement.
Amazing. Professor Mamokgethi Phakeng, thank you so much for that. And I think they're also like geopolitical. I mean, there was a time when the Pope died, Pope Francis died. I remember I was checking flights to Paris, because I was going to go. I ran the Paris Marathon about 4 weeks or so ago. Their prices were crazy for flights, because just after that, I mean, the Pope had died, so it was quite hectic. So looking at what happens around the world as well, sometimes that impacts on the prices. All right, it's 10 minutes now before 11 o'clock. When we come back, we'll respond to some of that. And if you do timeshare as well, which is what the Prof is talking about, let me know what your experience of it has been, and so that other listeners maybe can look into that. Explore the future of water security at Water Security Africa at the CTICC in Cape Town from the 20th to the 22nd of May. Join industry leaders, innovators, and stakeholders at this vital summit to discover advanced water technology, sustained solutions, and investment opportunities. Register for free now at watersecurity-africa.com.
Hi, I'm Dion Free. Winning requires audacity. That's why I joined African Bank and opened a 60-month fixed-term investment account. I'm scoring 12.8% interest at expiry on my investment. How cool is that? You too can join the bank that backs you to grow your money. Pop into a branch near you or visit africanbank.co.za. African Bank. Audacity to believe. African Bank is a licensed financial services and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
The time to honor our past and step into a shared future as a team is here. Corporate hospitality and team entries for this year's 702 Walk the Talk are now open. Bring your colleagues together on Sunday, the 27th of July to walk through the historic Freedom Park Heritage Site, past national landmarks, and finish at the Union Buildings. To book hospitality, email hospitality@raceoffice.co.za. For corporate entries, visit primemediaplus.com. Entries close on Friday, the 18th of July. 702 Walk the Talk, hosted by Freedom Park Heritage Site in the city of Tshwane, where footsteps become footprints.
Across the Desk
with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
8 minutes now before 11 o'clock. Let's quickly take Kofi, who's calling us from Pretoria. Kofi, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Clement. Thank you so much for putting this thing together. And I have to agree with you. I love to travel alone. It's not easy. But the other one is that I also thank you for having put the focus on South Africa. This is one of the most beautiful countries in the world, and there's so much here and cheaper. The other one that I think that's missing a bit is the rest of Africa. This is our backyard, and we need to pick out what are the other places that these ladies have enjoyed and around the continent. And then my final one is, Asia. But mainly China, because I have two criteria, geopolitics and then food. And I think if they can give us a little bit of tip on China, especially on the visa issue, on the costs, and then the best time to travel.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll have those technical details, Kofi, but I think let's put that focus on Africa. If you guys travel anywhere, thank you, Kofi, for the call. On the continent, what's been your favorite place?
Victoria Falls is, it's one of the big hitters, but it's amazing. And I've traveled extensively through Botswana. Again, it depends on your interest, if you like wildlife. And yes, what we've got in our backyard is, and Namibia is another fantastic neighbor for travel and experiences.
Yeah, so. It is beautiful. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I also love Victoria Falls. I experienced it from both the Zimbabwean side and the Zambian side. And Zambia is also just really lovely. Their food there, Botswana as well, Tanzania. And I'm looking to go to Kenya sometime next year. So we also do definitely have some gems in Africa.
We do. I mean, people go crazy about Zanzibar. I mean, Zanzibar is amazing. Mauritius is amazing.
Yes.
Haven't been to the Seychelles.
Yes. But it's also, it's one.
Apparently, it's also quite great. Okay, let's go to. Have you guys done in Asia? Where have you been?
I've been to Cambodia, and I can not to China. I know the gentleman spoke about China. We do have cruise ships that call, which is nice because they call in at say the ports along the Chinese coast, gives the people the experience without an extensive. Japan tends to be a very popular destination for culinary and cultural travel. Obviously, the cherry blossoms.
As
then
well
you're
as South
looking,
Korea,
yes, you're looking traveling. Sort of late March, April, if you want the cherry blossoms, the infamous cherry blossoms, or the opposite of that, they have the autumn leaves. So you're later in the year, October time. So Japan is a very, very popular Asian. Cambodia and Vietnam along the Mekong.
Oh, I want to do Vietnam.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's very peaceful. That's a fantastic trip. And again, recommended by water on a ship from the Mekong will take you right through Cambodia and Vietnam extensively, and it's all curated trips, all to the safest places. It's a beautiful experience, so definitely recommend it if you're thinking of Asia.
Yeah. Asia, I've been to Thailand and Indonesia, Bali, the water, as well as Hong Kong. They've got great food there.
Wasn't it busy on the streets? It always looks so busy. Like,
so the thing is, and also to answer the prof's question, which is like, what's the best time to go? Off-peak season is always the best time. I know people are afraid to go during rainy season, but the thing with Asia is that their rainy season doesn't mean it's raining all the time.
Yes.
It just means that it rains in the morning and then it stops, or
and the rain is warm.
And the rain is warm. And they only have two seasons. It's either rainy season or dry season, wet and dry. So in terms of going to places and often on peak, I think just research that area because many different areas are.
Hello, Nadine. We are going as a family on Tuesday to the States, and we are going to be in Boston, Connecticut, and in New York. Please, can you give us one tip for each of those that we absolutely have to do? Thanks so much. This is Chris from Radiohead.
So, New York?
Boston and Connecticut.
Yeah. Oh, Boston was cold the last time I was there. But it shouldn't be cold now.
It's currently spring right now. So it's getting a little bit warmer. Although they are going to the top side of the east. So it's still a little bit cold, but not too much.
Yeah.
So I'll answer on New York first. I mean, New York has got so many destinations. Oh my gosh.
Soho, Manhattan.
Do the Brooklyn Bridge. There's a place called Dumbo. Definitely go there. Do Times Square, obviously. The museums, especially if you're going as a family, the museums are very nice. Central Park.
Oh, go run by Central Park if you're a runner.
Yeah.
Just walk with your family there.
And then when it comes to Boston, I mean, there's Harvard and stuff like that. But I think Gaynor can speak more on Connecticut and Boston.
Well, I've visited Boston and just for a couple of days as part of Scenic Eclipse, one of the ships that we do. And there is a very famous oyster restaurant in Boston, which I would recommend because the gentleman was once interviewed by South Africa. He's got a South African news article on the wall, and that's if you like oysters, definitely. Also, Little Italy, Salem. So Boston's a very like you say, Harvard. It's a very interesting New England, lovely, lovely city to visit. The Little Italy is, and you get I think the famous Boston, is it Red Sox? I think I stand corrected. Their favorite pizza, which is about the size of your arm, the slice of pizza. So.
Yeah, go to Harvard. I mean, they do allow us.
They do allow you to walk through.
And just take it in.
Yes, and you can walk that whole street.
Yeah,
it's very beautiful.
Okay, how do people get a hold of you guys? They're asking. Please contact details.
Yes, sure. So our domain is cruise-vacations.
Cruise-vacation.
So that's the website, .co.za, or info@cruise-vacations.co.za.
Okay.
Okay, and for me, you can come to me personally at Nadine Ndlovu on all social media platforms, or you can find us at Navigate Travels, so NAVACATE Travels. .square.site, or you can find me through my personal pages, Instagram, TikTok,
Nadine Ndlovu.
Nadine Ndlovu.
Okay, guys, I've enjoyed this chat so much. Thank you so much for
Same,
making time for
likewise.
us.
Thank you for having us.
It's a minute before 11.
Timber, have you filed your business tax return?
Joe. With My Way Business Insurance, I get My Business Assist, which gives me loads of benefits. They assist in filing my taxes, so no long queues. Plus, I get tender notifications, marketing services, and more to help me elevate my hustle.
They do what?
Yebo. Thanks to My Way, now I have time to focus on the real deal, which is growing my business.
Move to My Way Business Insurance today and get covered to do business your way. Visit myway.co.za for a quote. My Business Assist is a value-added product. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's apply.
Imagine luxury, adventure, and relaxation all in one place and set against South Africa's stunning natural beauty. From gourmet dining to kids' clubs and thrilling activities, it's the ultimate getaway and it's almost here. Club Med is coming to South Africa. That's right, the world-renowned all-inclusive holiday brand will be launching its iconic services in KwaZulu-Natal. Learn more at clubmed.co.za.
Hanging out with Clement
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.